The NBA playoffs are nearing their end, with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers set to face off in the finals. The Thunder had a relatively smooth regular season, setting a franchise record with a 68-14 record and an NBA record for net rating. Their dominance continued into the playoffs as they steamrolled the Grizzlies in the first round and the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, after a season of proving his MVP worth, was exceptional in the Western Conference Finals, averaging 31.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 8.2 assists, earning him the Western Conference Finals MVP award. The Pacers, on the other hand, have had a more legendary journey. They eliminated the Bucks for 2-1, then surprisingly knocked out the regular season Eastern Conference top seed Cavaliers for 2-1, and finally defeated the Knicks for 2-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The dual-core combination of Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam has proven effective, and their deep rotation has been a significant factor in their success. Knicks' disappointing exit and internal strife. The New York Knicks season ended in disappointment, making them the last team eliminated before the finals. They finished the regular season with a 51-31 record, good for third in the Eastern Conference. However, their playoff run was fraught with controversy. Their 4-2 series win over the Pistons was criticized by the media as being aided by officiating, and their 4-2 victory over the Celtics was attributed to Boston's injury woes and declining competitiveness. Despite being considered a strong contender after eliminating the Celtics, the Knicks' Eastern Conference Finals series against the Pacers exposed significant internal issues. Coach Tom Thibodeau's notorious reliance on his starters led to fatigue, and while he did give more minutes to players like Shamet, Miles McBride, and Mitchell Robinson in the Eastern Conference Finals, it was too late. Two incidents highlighted the Knicks' internal problems. Game 1 ECF altercation. In Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, during a late-game timeout, Anunoby was seen arguing with Towns, gesticulating and expressing dissatisfaction. Towns retorted, prompting Jalen Brunson to immediately chastise Towns. Mikal Bridges attempted to mediate, and Mitchell Robinson also tried to calm Towns, who turned his head away. This incident occurred after a crucial defensive breakdown where Towns switched onto Siakam, leaving Nesmith open for a three-pointer, his fifth in a row, allowing the Pacers to cut the lead and eventually force overtime, where the Knicks collapsed. Anunoby, frustrated by the defensive lapse, confronted Towns. Initially, Brunson tried to pacify Anunoby but then joined in, shouting at Towns, seemingly to no avail. Renowned reporter Kevin O'Connor stated that the Knicks' primary goal this summer should be to trade Towns. He reported that there had been internal dissatisfaction with Towns throughout the season, noting a disconnect between the team's overall cohesion and individual talent on the court. Knicks players had hinted publicly at communication issues, and privately, players and coaches expressed ongoing frustration with Towns' defensive habits. O'Connor added that Towns frequently changed defensive schemes or rotations without explanation, leading teammates to doubt his commitment. After the Knicks' elimination in Game 6, team beat reporter Edwards revealed widespread discontent with Towns, with players and coaches privately expressing confusion and dissatisfaction with his defensive execution. Towns became a team scapegoat for the Knicks' exit. Despite these criticisms, Towns' playoff statistics were solid, averaging 21.4 points, 11.6 rebounds, and 1.3 assists on 48.8% shooting from the field and 35.1% from three. His 5.0 offensive rebounds per game were the best in the league. It's undeniable that without Towns, the Knicks would not have reached this level, especially considering his role in overcoming the Celtics and spearheading a significant comeback against the Pacers in one game, where he scored 20 points and grabbed 8 rebounds in the fourth quarter. Towns' strengths and weaknesses are stark. His offensive talent and athletic ability for his position are exceptional, arguably making him the most dominant center in the East after Embiid's injury. However, his low basketball IQ often leads to egregious fouls, and his defensive focus is poor. This isn't the first time Edwards has reported on internal strife within the Knicks. After the All-Star break, when the Knicks' performance dipped with consecutive blowout losses to the Cavaliers 37 points and Celtics 13 points, he had already indicated a lack of unity, which was masked by individual talent. O'Connor's assertion that trading Towns is the Knicks' top priority this off-season, even with Towns averaging 20.8 points and 12.2 rebounds in the Eastern Conference Finals, speaks volumes. From a personal perspective, the Knicks shouldn't place all the blame on Towns. Without him, they might have been swept for 2-0 by the Pacers. Towns performed well with the second unit, including McBride and Shamet, but struggled to get touches when playing with the starting lineup of Brunson and Bridges. The Knicks' 2-for exit was surprising given Towns' efficient offensive game and consistent shooting. In contrast, the trio of Brunson, Bridges, and Hart often overpassed, ignoring Towns even when he was open. Anunoby, a player who does all the dirty work, had every right to be frustrated with Towns, but Towns was not the sole culprit. Consider these for statistics. 1. Bridges' playoff on-off rating was -25.3. 2. Brunson's playoff on-off rating was -7.7. 3. In the first 5 games of the Eastern Conference Finals, with Brunson on the court, the Knicks were outscored by 11.6 points per 100 possessions. For with Brunson off and Towns leading the team, the Knicks outscored opponents by 18.1 points per 100 possessions. This suggests a form of team bullying. The Knicks, who went from championship favorites to a team riddled with internal conflict, are a perplexing squad. Thibodeau has indeed cultivated 5 hard-working players, particularly the trio of Brunson, Bridges, and Hart. Aside from Brunson's early return from an ankle injury, Bridges, Hart, and Anunoby have been absolute workhorses. However, Towns is different. He possesses clear offensive talent, but became an outsider due to Thibodeau's high usage rate and the team's apparent cliques. But would the Knicks have reached the Eastern Conference Finals without Towns? In the series against the Celtics, Towns averaged 20 points and 12.7 rebounds. Against the Pistons, he averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds. In the Eastern Conference Finals, Towns was the only player who could truly elevate the team's ceiling. Despite Brunson averaging 30.7 points and 6 assists in the Eastern Conference Finals, his on-off numbers show the team consistently losing with him on the court. With Towns having 3 years and $160 million remaining on his contract, a trade seems likely. However, for the Knicks, Brunson's leadership of a perceived clique and the team's true efficiency in the playoffs suggest they are primarily a regular season team, with a ceiling of the second round in the postseason. From Thibodeau's player management to the deep-seated internal conflicts, it's undeniable that Brunson, Anunoby, Hart, and Bridges are good players, but the Knicks' 4-star lineup might need to break up. In contrast to the Knicks, the Pacers embody a more egalitarian approach. In the playoffs, no single player averages more than 21 points, yet 8 players average over 8 points. The Pacers lost only 4 games in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, with 3 of those being blowout losses. Pascal Siakam, who was once a secondary option alongside Kawhi Leonard, earned the Eastern Conference Finals MVP award. The league might have underestimated the Pacers, who have been the most resilient team in the playoffs. Let's look at their 4 losses round 1 versus Bucks. The Pacers defeated Giannis Antetokounmpo's Bucks for 2-1. In Game 3, they suffered a 16-point blowout loss, and in the decisive Game 5, they trailed the Bucks by 20 points. However, their ability to adjust is remarkable. After the 16-point defeat, they responded with a dominant 26-point victory in Game 4, with 8 players scoring in double digits and Turner and Nembhard playing pivotal roles. In Game 5, they overcame a 20-point deficit, with Haliburton leading the comeback and delivering a game-winning layup to eliminate the Bucks. Round 2 versus Cavaliers. Against the Cavaliers, the Pacers secured 2 consecutive comeback victories on the road. Back home, they suffered a 22-point blowout loss in Game 3, indicative of young teams' occasional complacency. However, they immediately retaliated with a 20-point victory in Game 4 to clinch the series. This time, Haliburton didn't even need to carry the scoring load, as 3 players off the bench combined for 47 points to seal the series. Eastern Conference Finals versus Knicks. The same narrative continued in the Eastern Conference Finals. They secured 2 consecutive road victories against the Knicks, both being comeback wins. Back home, they lost Game 3 by 6 points and suffered a 17-point blowout loss in Game 5, during which Haliburton's controversial smirk drew criticism for appearing too relaxed. Many in the media wondered if the Pacers were getting complacent, risking a Game 7 on the road. However, in the decisive Game 6, the Pacers avenged themselves with a 17-point victory, with Siakam scoring 31 points to lead them to the Eastern Conference Championship and earn him the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Since March 10th, the Pacers have not experienced consecutive losses for over 2 months. Last season, the Pacers unexpectedly reached the Eastern Conference Finals, showcasing their offensive talent with Haliburton facilitating inside-out scoring. The team ranked first in the league in offensive efficiency, points per game, field goal percentage, and assists in both the regular season and playoffs, emerging as a dark horse. This season, they were continuously underestimated. Before the playoffs, their odds of winning the Eastern Conference were less than 3%. However, compared to last season, their offensive efficiency and scoring are second in the league, while their field goal percentage and assists remain first. Crucially, their defense has also improved, and they rank second only to the Thunder in points off turnovers and fast break points. And, of course, they have Haliburton, who has shown an incredible clutch gene with game-winning plays against the Bucks layup, Cavaliers step-back three, and Knicks long to force overtime, and a crucial fourth-quarter performance in the ECF clincher. As the media has noted, by eliminating Giannis, the top-seeded Cavaliers, and the league's most valuable team Knicks, the Pacers have truly been the most surprising team. Compared to those three teams, the Pacers consistently had less media attention. Two statistics highlight their depth. This postseason, any three-player combination for the Pacers that played over 270 minutes resulted in a positive plus-minus for all 10 such combinations. Similarly, any two-player combination that played over 330 minutes also resulted in a positive plus-minus for all 10 such combinations. Whether Haliburton leads the team or McConnell and Siakam do, the Pacers' point differential with these combinations is remarkably consistent, with an average net rating error margin of less than 20%. This roster depth is astounding, something even the Thunder haven't achieved. The Pacers have defied expectations and disrupted the Golden Favorites narrative. While they are once again the underdogs against the Thunder, with oddsmakers like BR giving the Thunder a 95.3% chance of winning the championship, who's to say the Pacers won't continue to create miracles? The league might have underestimated them once again.